communications checks that will be coming up about an hour from now. Also, communications checks on tap in a few hours with the Joint Flight Research Center, but all of the focus of attention is at the Kennedy Space Center for the anticipated landing of Atlantis tomorrow morning to complete the 30-year space shuttle program. The weather forecast is considered to be excellent, with the Spaceflight Meteorology Group predicting just a few clouds at 5,000 feet and 25,000 feet, light winds, a crosswind component of only 6 knots, virtually pristine weather in the pre-dawn hours for landing 42 minutes before sunrise. Earlier this morning, under the direction of Entry Flight Director Tony Sacacci, the crew on board Atlantis checked out the flight control systems, the aero surfaces on the space shuttle with the activation of auxiliary power unit number 1. Everything checked out in great shape. The crew also test-fired all 44 reaction control system jets, 38 primary jets, and 6 vernier thrusters. And Atlantis has been declared to have full capability, full controllability, with 4 good general-purpose computers to support entry and landing back at the Kennedy Space Center. Because the weather is considered to be so ideal, only the Cape will be attempted for landing on Thursday. No other backup sites called up for landing support. In the highly unlikely event something would occur that would prevent Atlantis from landing, then on Friday all 3 landing sites, the Kennedy Space Center and the backup sites at Edwards Air Force Base in California and the White Sands Space Harbor in New Mexico would be called up for landing support. But with everything shaping up to be a flawless weather day, we'll be coming in tonight with the entry team of flight controllers once again at 9:30 Central Time tonight to take the shift from the planning team. And at that time, the entry flight director, Tony Sacacci, will be receiving periodic and frequent updates from the Spaceflight Meteorology Group to ensure that nothing has changed and that the weather and the observed conditions are as good as they are forecast to be at this hour. In addition, Chief Astronaut or Deputy Chief Astronaut Rick Sturko will be flying first a T-38 training jet and then the shuttle training aircraft around the vicinity of the Kennedy Space Center to evaluate the weather in real time and to provide his inputs back to the control team here in Houston. The crew will be settling in for a midday meal. A short time from now, they'll conduct an internal deorbit briefing to review all of the procedures associated with the closing of the payload bay doors tomorrow morning. Their suit up, all of their fluid loading preparations that designed to offset the orthostatic intolerance effects of a return to a gravity environment during the entry phase of tomorrow's landing operations. And then they'll wrap up with the stowage of the crew cabin and the stowage for the last time of the shuttle's KU band antenna that has provided downlink television and high data rate telemetry for shuttle missions throughout the years. Entry Flight Director Tony Sacacci will provide his report on all the activities that have occurred during the overnight hours, the weather forecast for tomorrow, and how things are shaping up for Atlantis' final landing in the mission status briefing this morning that is scheduled at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on NASA television. Also, earlier this morning, about just under 2 hours ago, a very tiny satellite called PicoSat was deployed from a canister on the side wall of the payload bay of Atlantis. That all went fine. The PicoSat containing solar cells for research into new solar cell technology for principal investigators on the ground.